what it is there's. Should I just walk around here with no pants on? I have my underwear on. That's what I'm gonna do. This belt doesn't fit very good. There's cultural differences these days. I'm reacting again, but you'll know what I'm talking about because it gives me something to talk about. You reacting, whatever. But these are different times. These are really different times. Like, okay, cultural differences between now and the 90s. Okay, right around around the time 1990 when Nirvana was out and stuff, because they were probably the last great rock band, right? All right, if you weren't there, this is what it was like. Internet was just coming out. It was just for rich people. We knew about it in the suburbs, but it was not going to happen for most poor kids in the 90s. You'd have to be really lucky. I was really lucky because my sister married a guy that went to school for that shit, and he was, I got to play on his computer. And then I learned how to build them myself, but it wasn't going to happen. So, I mean, there was a lot of sexual repression in the 90s. Yeah. It was really hard. Like, especially if you were, it just sucked. Maybe you had a magazine that you coveted and held close to your heart and paid homage to it every night with sticky pages and shit, and you kept it and you had it like a Bible, like the Beatles' White Album. You remember that one episode of Jugs you had that one month of December 1990 or something? That was your only jerk material. You had to close your eyes and use your imagination back then, or use VHS cassettes, which is a whole other story, but still the same story. You know what I mean? So you're wanks, and it gave rise to like rocker girls, just like in the 60s and 70s, in the tradition of all the great groupies of the 60s and 70s and 80s, yeah, all your plaster casters and all them. But yeah, so you had like the girls you went to school with. Some of them were losers too, and they aspired to be nothing but groupies anyway, in some way, shape, or form. So they became rocker chicks, misfit chicks that would do more than the other girls would do because they were rocker chicks. They wore tons of Aquanet hairspray, fucking silver sparkly fucking lipstick, lots of eyeliner, lots of hairspray, a whole lot of this, and a whole lot of bongs, bowls, and pussy holes. And the music fueled it. You had your Guns N' Roses, and your girlfriend would be doing these little serpentine dances to fucking Guns N' Roses music, and you were forced to like it because she liked it so much. I fucking love Axl. That's what it was like in the 90s with your girlfriend. Oh my god. Axl fucking Rose. Fuck you, bitch. Shut up. This is a good singer. You can't sing, bitch. And so it was like that, but and I was so sick of the New York, LA, back to New York glam shit again. I was tired of it, and I was tired of Metallica, and I was already listening to West Coast punk music by this point. So when Nirvana came, I was just like, whatever. It was a welcome change, but it wasn't revolutionary like people remember it. It wasn't like that. It did change things. It made it easier for me, being a straight rock and roller, punk rocker. It made it easier because it knocked out metal. Metal's last gasp. It knocked out that really bad New York Dolls shit that people were trying to do. No, get the fuck out of here. That's what Cobain did with his friend. Get the fuck out of here. Novoselic was, pushing people the fuck out because he's the big one. Kurt would start the fights. And it was just the last gasp. And they put you on a little boy tour. And I told you, you know how the lingo goes on this channel. They pinball you around if everybody had a boy band, if every gay manager had a boy band, you know what I mean? And you'd be inside, outside USA, going on tour, running around like Axl Rose. And it was just a bad time to be alive. And then Kurt was like, I don't want to do that. And most rock stars agree. We don't want to do that. I don't want to tour the rest of my life. I hate this. I want to go home. I don't want to play music anymore. That's what Cobain said, and that's why he's my idol. Because he, in the middle of his fucking tour, you know, I don't want to play music anymore. I just want to go home and hang out with my girlfriend. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. Totally. I don't care how much you're gonna pay me. I'm pretty good with what I made, but I don't want to play rock and roll star anymore. Yeah. And I mean, you got to thank Courtney though for breeding him, because Kurt's is probably a gay man, like I always suspected he was, and he is for the most part. But that's the classic story of these bitches. These good groupie bitches come around, and they breed with the Lennons, the Cobains, and thank God they gave us beautiful children. And you're like, oh my God, Francis Bean, the last vestige of Cobain. Let me eat that pussy till I'm dead. Look at that. Shit like that. You got your Sean Lennons, your Julian Lennons, all them beautiful, beautiful people, babies. They get gobbled up too, and they get born afterward, and they're just like, I don't get it. And it's like, yeah, why would you, baby? Why would you get it? Were things ever really like that? And it's like, they were, but they weren't. The internet and the way it gave out free porn and free music really was the last goddamn Maxwell Silver on the brain of the old rock and roll flogged dead horse on the ground. That's what it did. Go boom. Good night, Gracie. Good night. Old Yeller, why don't you run on out there so I can draw a bead on the back of your head and blow your fucking brains out. There you go. I love you. Kill you execution style when your back's turned. Put a pillow over your head and blow your fucking brains out because I love you so much. Good night, Gracie. Good fucking night. Good night, rock and roll dinosaur. Good night. You know what I mean? It was like that. Nowadays, no. I hate to say it, but it's terrible. You don't have your little goth whores anymore. You don't have your MySpace, at least, even, anymore. With your your future, or an extensive catalog of wannabe cum whores on the internet like, Daddy, look at me, I'm part of rock and roll culture. Come fucking piggy. Look at me, Daddy, look. You don't see that anymore. Kids now are apathetic. Like unisexual, and I don't know. There's no, everybody has been given what they want, and it's like, somehow no one can define it properly either, but why has rock and roll lost its significance in its place in culture? But it has. And there's nothing to replace it. There's no hip-hop. There's no nothing like that. There's nothing. Can it come back? I think anything can be made. You can make anything. And the public has to barely agree. There's no reason to be a rock star anymore. That's a good point. There's no fucking reason. You don't, it's like, I want girls. I wish there was. But I've told you before, man, playing a guitar now is so antiquated. It's like being a barbershop quartet or I want to master this fucking Duncan yo-yo until make it do shit like a magician. I want to make it walk the dog and go on tour with my Duncan yo-yo. Yeah. I want to go around and make little girls into stars. That's the easiest thing to do. For me, it would be. Because sex sells, and I would just make them, yeah. And it's even harder, though. I want to see more dancing little girls. There needs to be little girl groups. That's what there needs to be. Little girl groups and how to exploit them. Rumor number 1. Fucking, yeah. That's what I want to do. And operate quickly, like fucking, like Phil Spector did. Operate very quickly, so there's a fast turnover of girls, and you cash in right at that moment. Sleep with all of them. Write little ditties for all of them. Even if you only get 2, that'd be the greatest accomplishment nowadays. That'd be the modern Phil Spector. You'd be like, I got me a group of 5 bitches that are just so hungry for dick and for stardom and for fucking drugs. They put on this little act. One last hurrah. I don't know. It would take time to season the. Yeah, you'd have to season the culture, and it's like we can't be seasoned. And they're slowly starting, at least for me they're slowly starting to take away all the shit they give you for free. After a while, you can't download music anymore. After a while, the music stops coming, and you're just so used to it. You know? Let's flip with Mac Dollar. It's not important, baby, anymore. Not important. It's not important anymore. Okay. You know? We gotta make it relevant to little Mila Bob before it means anything to you or me.